Okay, today we're going to go ahead and we are going to install Ubuntu in VirtualBox. So first thing that you're going to have to do in this is to go to ubuntu.com to download Ubuntu. If you do a Google search, this page is the page that should come up. We're just going to go click on the download. I already have it downloaded. I don't need to click on this, but this is exactly what you're going to do is click download and get it from there. I already, again, have it, so I don't have to do this step. So I'm going to go forward with the installation and just go ahead and create a new VM by clicking the new button up here. And now I have a name up here, and I'm going to call this Ubuntu. And I'm going to keep the type as Linux. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and leave it Linux. And then I already put Ubuntu, so it already selected that I was going to use Ubuntu 64-bit. And that's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and click Next. Now, I'm going to leave the memory size at 1024. That's 1 gig of RAM. Really, it's if you wanted to install more, you can. Ubuntu, I believe, needs roughly about 512 minimum, and that's 512 megabytes minimum in order to do a successful install. It's a really, Linux operating systems do not need a lot of RAM. That's what makes them attractive to run. So I'm going to go ahead and click Next. Now I'm going to ask about a hard drive size. Now it's saying my recommended hard drive size is 10 gigs, and that's fine. I'm going to leave it as that. And I'm going to let it create the virtual hard disk file. I don't have an existing one used, so I'm going to leave it alone and click Create. Now it's going to ask me to type. Now the other types are used for other operating systems, not operating systems, hypervisors. So if you want to use VHD, you could use V. You can create it here, put it in Hyper-V. If you use the VMDK, you could put this in VMware Workstation or VMware Player. It just really depends on you. For this lesson, I'm going to use VirtualBox disk image because it's very lightweight, and just I want to use that. All right, so we're going to leave this as dynamically allocated and not a fixed size. Dynamically allocated means that we're going to use only the hard space. We'll only use space on your physical hard drive as it needs to. And it will only go up to 10 gigs. It will stop at that point. If it needs more, you're going to get an error message. It's going to pop back. So we're going to go ahead and click Next. We are going to leave everything the way it is right here, and we're just going to click Create. I don't see any reason to do that. So we're going to let it create. Now, we have to do a couple of other things first, okay? Now, one of the things that we have to do is we have to associate the ISO file that we downloaded to this virtual machine so it can boot up and install. So the first thing that you're going to do, and I'm going to close this, I jumped the gun a bit, is hit the settings button right here. And once you get into that, you're going to see a bunch of different things. Now, what we're going to do is go to storage. That's where we're concerned about. And we're looking at the IDE controller where there's no disk image file selected, this little CD that you see here. We're going to click on this, and we're going to put a check mark in here saying live CD. Just you could do it after if you didn't do it before. And now we're going to click this CD here, and it's going to bring this download where it's going to say choose create a virtual optical disk or choose a disk file. We're going to use a disk file. And I'm going to go to where my Ubuntu is on my desktop. I'm going to go hit here, and we are going to just let this create it, let the ISO file associate with this. Don't know why it's still downloading the desktop. Oh, yeah, do know. We'll let that finish. Once it's completed, it'll associate. I am running, everything is backed up to SharePoint, to my SharePoint server. So that's why everything on my desktop is covered, because I always usually put a lot of stuff on SharePoint. Anyway, I have a bunch of folders, so please just let this go through. This doesn't necessarily affect you unless you're using OneDrive to back up your system. So we got about 15 seconds and then this is going to finish. So we're going to let this go through a bit. So now I've associated the CD with this. I could see this here. This is what it should be. If you're getting stuck at any part of this video, please do me a favor, pause the video, rewind it, catch up. That's why I'm putting this up. And we're going to click OK. Now the CD is associated with VirtualBox. Now remember, if you think you forgot a setting, go ahead and click Settings, go back into it, go to Storage, make sure that this is there. If it is not there, make sure you repeat the steps, rewind the video, and it's possible that you did not check this live CD DVD. I remember I said that you could do it either before or after selecting the ISO. So please do this. Okay, click OK, and we are going to hit Start. Now we're going to start our Ubuntu virtual machine. And now this is going to come up with some capture message. We're going to click that, and it's going to go through its process. Now, at this point, while it's checking the disk and doing all this, I would like to state this. If you get an error message at this point of the operation, please make sure that you've enabled virtualization technology in your BIOS. This is a requirement. Okay, you need to have this enabled in order to create virtual machines in VirtualBox regardless. VirtualBox is at a great price called free, which I like. Free is always good. So we are just letting this boot go through its boot process. And we get this little chime that you just heard. So we should be getting somewhere, someplace close. And we are going to get to a page where we're going to have something that comes up and tells us to install. Yes, we didn't install it yet. We just booted up to it. So we're going to make sure that we select the English language and hit install on Ubuntu. Let that little circle go through its paces. We're going to make sure our keyboard layout is English, and we are going to hit continue. Now, I personally like to just do the normal installation, and that's perfectly fine. If you need to use any kind of minimal stuff, which is basically a web browser and some basic utilities, that's what you would do. If there's a hard drive consideration that needs to be made, that's fine. I am going to click continue at this point, and I'm going to leave the download updates while installing Ubuntu checked off, because this saves time after installation. We don't have to, it's going to go out right now, get the updates, and report back to us. Now your progress bar is these little dots here. As you go through it, you will see a bunch of stuff. So the next page that we should be getting soon after hitting erase disk and install now is going to be, where is our time? Sorry, nope, we jumped the gun a little bit. We're going to go ahead and hit, it's asking us that we're erasing disks. So we need to go ahead and erase these disks. So we're going to hit next and continue, hopefully. And let's see what happens here. Okay, now we're going to, it's asking us, where are we? Well, obviously, if you're in my class, you are not in New York. Well, you may be, I don't know. However, we are going to leave it here because New York is for the Eastern time zone. If you're in a different time zone, go ahead, you can click this and go to whatever time zone you're at. It'll pick the major city to choose from. I'm on the East Coast, so I'm going to choose this. and we are going to continue. Oh, well, it said Toronto. So you could either choose that or Toronto. It's up to you. We are still in the Eastern Standard Time. So let's hit continue. Now it's going to ask us some personal information. This is the final, this is some setting up that we need to do. So we're going to put our name. I'm going to put my name, and I'm going to leave it here. And it's going to say what do we want to call our computer. Our computer name is what we call our host name. And we'll talk more about host names when we get into Network Plus if you're in my class. If you're not, I would tell you to go ahead and look up a video on host names. It'll probably be a lot. If you're in my class, please don't do that. You're still an A+, so you need to still take a look at this information, get that test under your belt before going to anything else. So I'm just going to call this computer name. I'm just going to give it some information, JPR, and I'm going to go say Linux VM. And I may have more than one, so I'm going to put, I may make more than one later, so I'm going to put 01, sorry, little typo there. And I'm going to pick my username, and I don't like that username, so I am going to just go ahead and just put my first initial last name, and then I'm just going to type in my uber super secret password that I don't share with anybody. And I am going, it's going to say require a password to log in. Log in automatically. I don't want to get into this practice of just logging in and letting it log in. That means it's going to reboot into it. If you want to do it for testing purposes, that's fine. That's not the way we should do it in a business, or at, I would say that that's a bad security practice. So let's go ahead and hit continue and leave require my password to log in and hit continue. Now it is going ahead through the installation of Ubuntu. So that is getting up there now. And I am going to, at this point, let it go through a whole bunch of steps, and let's see how long it takes. If it takes long, I'm going to pause the video. But it looks like it's speeding through. It's retrieving files, skimming through, 24 seconds of remaining. And this is just of the retrieving files part. This is not of the download. Okay, so we're waiting. It says retrieving the file. We just retrieved the file. Just some cool advertisements of things that you can download in here. Interesting. Spotify. Couple things. Have fun with your photos shot well. If you want to use this. Linux Office version. Support documentation. So we're going to let this go through. I'm going to go ahead and pause this video. If the video does take a long time, it will increase the space, take a delay in creating this video. So I'm going to pause it right now and let it, oh, spoke too soon. But yeah, I'm going to let it go ahead. I'm going to pause it right now. I already said I did. So. And we're just letting this go through at this point. And our installation is complete. We just need to restart now. We're going to let it restart. and it's going to give us some stuff, and we're just going to let it do some interesting gobbledygook. It says, please remove the installation media and then press enter. So go in settings, storage. All you have to do is remove or eject this from virtual disk, and then that removes it. Click OK. Now let's go back to our VirtualBox instance, our Ubuntu, and hit enter. And now we have our VirtualBox instance. We can click on our name, type our Uber secret password that you created, and now you are, should be in. And now you're in. Now you could do some single sign on with your Microsoft accounts. I'm going to skip this next. I'm just going to get to the desktop just for time's sake. And this is what you should get when you have had a successful installation. You should see the desktop, and we will be playing with this in our Linux class later today. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it.